Hi everyone. So let's start discussing means of spread. Means how these infectious diseases are spread. Okay, we know that there are two types, infectious disease and non-infectious disease, right? So naturally, if we talk about means of spread, then we are talking about infectious disease. So the question here is, how do infectious disease spread? So these microbial agents can commonly move from an if affected person to someone else in a variety of ways. So there are different ways through which these microbial agents or disease causing agents, they can move from an affected person, that is from diseased person, to someone else in different ways. Now, in other words, we can say that they can be communicated. So, they are means these microbial agents, they are basically communicated. Communicated means going from one place to another place. And that's why these infectious diseases are also called communicable disease. All right. So, because microbial agents can move from one place to another place, that is from affected person to someone else, in different ways, these infectious disease are called communicable disease also. Now, they can spread through air also, all right? And this occurs through the little droplets thrown out by an infected person who sneeze or coughs. So we know that if you have cough or cold, and if you sneeze or if you coughs, then there are tiny droplets thrown out, okay, either by your mouth or your nose. And then these tiny droplets thrown out by an infected person they get mixed into the air. And if someone is standing close by, and if that person can breathe these droplets, okay, and this is how these microbes get a chance to start a new infection. So these microbes get a new body to enter into. All right. So through droplets it happens. An example of such disease which can spread through air via droplets are common cold, pneumonia, and tuberculosis. All right. So these are some of the examples. Now, if we talk about, see, we all have had the experience of sitting near someone suffering from a cold. You must have noticed this in your house, if in your home, if any one of the members, if that person is having cold, then there are high likely chances that the other person or maybe someone else also in your family can get cold, because if that person is living in surrounding that person who is having cold, right? So if you, even if you sit near someone suffering from cold, okay, and they can get they can also catch this cold. Obviously, the more crowded our living conditions are, the more likely it is that such airborne disease will spread. So how this airborne disease spread? Because if there are the living condition is crowded, means this living space is small and there are more people living in small space, right? So airborne disease, they can spread through air, through via droplets. Now, disease can be also spread through water, of course, and this occurs if the excreta from someone suffering from an infectious gut disease such as cholera get mixed with the drinking water used by people nearby. So sometimes what happens that in case of slum area, if that place is not very hygienic, okay, that place is not, it means if there are no any agency which is taking care of the uh, hygiene in particular area, then what happens that in such places there are chances that excreta of some person who is infectious, who has infection, that excreta can get mixed with the water. And somehow, see, they don't, not all of the people are using RO or maybe, purifier or any such things. to purify the water, and they just directly use the tap water to drink, right? So here, in such case, there are high likely chances that these people can get infection, okay? And one of the such diseases is cholera, because it's spread by water, infected water, or polluted water. So the cholera causing microbes will enter the healthy person naturally. So this microbes will enter the healthy person through water they drink and cause disease in them. Such diseases are much more likely to spread in the absence of safe supply of drinking water. Naturally, so if there is absence of safe supply of drinking water, then people can have such disease, which are waterborne disease. So these are this cholera can be called waterborne disease because it's being spread by drinking water, okay, or polluted drinking water. Then the another way infectious disease can spread is sexual act. See, the sexual act is one of the closest physical contact two people can have with each other. So in case of sexual act, there is a close contact between two people, right? And not surprisingly, there are microbial infections such as syphilis or AIDS. All right, so these kind of diseases can be spread, like in case of sexual act. So these why these because in sexual act, when two people are very close to each other, then there are chances that infected person can transfer the infection to the other person who is healthy, right? So these kind of diseases are syphilis and AIDS or AIDS, okay? So see, what we have seen is that there are different ways through which this disease can spread, okay? The first thing we talked about is airborne disease, means through air they are being transferred. Then we talked about waterborne disease. So these type of disease are being transferred by polluted water. When the water is drinking water, basically it is not good enough, or it's polluted, of course. And then we are talking about sexual act, means direct contact, okay? So the kind of disease with sexual act can be spread is like syphilis and AIDS. This is immunodeficiency virus, okay? So acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, the full form of AIDS, and the virus is immunodeficiency virus. And by sexual contact, it is getting transferred from one partner to the other partner, right? However, such sexually transmitted disease are not spread by casual physical contact. So it's not spread by casual physical contacts like simple handshakes or hugs or sports like wrestling or any other way in which you just touch the infected person, right? So by just touching the infected person, you cannot spread the disease, right? Other than the sexual contact, the virus causing AIDS, that is HIV, can also spread through blood to blood. So it can also spread through blood to blood contact with infected people, from infected mother to her baby during the feeding, or maybe during the pregnancy also. So if the mother is HIV positive, then there are chances, or there are high likely chances in fact, that the uh, baby which mother is carrying in her womb, even that baby can have the chances of getting this AIDS disease. All right. Naturally, because the mother is carrying the baby in her womb, right? So that's why. Now, see, we live in an environment that's full of many creatures apart from us. So this is another way. This is called vectors, okay? So there are some creatures and they can spread many diseases. So there are many diseases that can be transmitted by animals also. These animals carry the infecting agents from a sick person to another potential host, means the other person, which the person can be healthy. So from infected person, these animals take the disease causing agents and give it to the other person. These animals are thus intermediaries and are called vectors. So these animals are called vectors because they carry the disease causing germs from infected person. All right. So if you look at this chart, this is infected person, this is healthy person. See, either by direct contact like handshake and kissing, either by air through droplets, and by indirect indirect contact means when you use the things or stuff used by the infected person. So if these things are used or any of the things used by the infected person is again used by the healthy person, then there are chances that this healthy person would get all this infection. All right. Then by food also, if the same food, if the person, these two people are sharing, infected and non-infected people are sharing the same food, then also there are high likely chances. Mosquitoes also, uh, and then rabies, and these are vectors, mosquitoes and flies and rabies. So even these dogs have rabies virus and they can give this disease. Okay, like that. So these are some of the ways by which disease can be transferred. If you take this example of mosquito, the mosquito will bite the infected person, and the mosquito will suck the blood of the infected person, and the same mosquito can bite the healthy person in the family, and this blood can be transferred into the healthy person. So even healthy person will be infected again, right? So this is how mosquito and flies and other animals like vectors, they spread this disease. So these are the methods of transmission of disease. All right. So the commonest vectors we all know are like mosquitoes. Then female need highly nutritious food in the form of blood in order to able to lay mature eggs. All right. Mosquitoes feed on warm-blooded animals, including us. I just gave you this example. In this way, they can transfer disease from one person to another person, right? So this is how vectors can transfer this disease. All right. So there are more, see, in many species of mosquito especially, the female need highly nutritious food in the form of blood, and so female mosquitoes are responsible for the transmission of the disease, and these are the commonest vectors we all know about it, okay, like mosquitoes, flies and all right. So this is how infectious disease can be transferred from infected person to the healthy person.